services in St. Lucia was established in 2009. But prior to that, this was a decision of the heads of CARICOM to establish coalition of services throughout the CARICOM countries. And this was an identification of the fact that we needed to diversify our economy. We recognized the trends in services, that there was a lot of potential in the services sector, and they saw the need to establish the coalition as the driver of the services sector.
Exporting successfully is a sustained effort, so you have to be ready to invest the time and to be persistent in the pursuit of those opportunities. The other thing, of course, is to have the supporting services that help you in developing your exports. And of course, the St. Lucia Coalition has done and is doing a lot to try to develop those type of services for the companies, but you need to increase the opportunities in upgrading your skills, access to technology, good policies and regulations that will facilitate both at national and regional level the opportunities for you into those markets.
Well, the services sector is critical for the economy because by virtue of the contribution of services to GDP, you would see that services contribute in the order of magnitude of over 85% of gross domestic product. In terms of exports, services constitute almost 90% of the value of exports of St. Lucia. In terms of employment, services employ the highest numbers of persons in St. Lucia. In terms of foreign exchange, services is the highest foreign exchange earner. So we partner with the coalition in capacity building, in developing standards and rules and regulations. This is really what we do with the coalition. And of course, providing financial support so that the coalition could continue.
St. Lucia Trade Export Promotion Agency, we call TIPA, that's the acronym, and I'm more comfortable with that because it rolls off the tongue a little easier. It has two main functions. Firstly, it is responsible for export promotion for St. Lucia on a national level. That means we work with goods and service providers throughout St. Lucia to help them to promote their goods overseas, whether they are looking to penetrate the market for the first time or whether they are interested in expanding their markets. Secondly, we have the responsibility to be the coordinating agency for implementation of St. Lucia National Export Development Strategy. So TIPA works with the coalition to take firms that the coalition thinks are export ready, that they refer to us. In many instances, when we do want to reach service producers collectively, the association therefore becomes a natural partner since they have that level of outreach. The coalition is also one of the key agencies involved in implementing the export strategy, and therefore TIPA works with the coalition very closely to ensure that what is in the strategy is actually delivered to the service providers in St. Lucia.
The export platform was basically a four-pronged approach to developing our service providers to get them ready for the export market. The first stage of that program was for the company for business development. So the companies had to go through the process of developing a SWOT analysis, understanding their companies, what was to identify clearly the services that they were offering.
Empower consultants, we do capacity building. We've been doing capacity building for the last 18 years, but again, I haven't marketed the business as I ought. I could not have undertaken the development of an export plan for my firm because in the first place, I did not have the expertise. So the SWOT at the beginning of the process was to assist you in determining your readiness and to what extent you have thought through what you're about to undertake. And having gone through the process, I realized that I could not have done this without the support and coaching that we received.
E6 is a multidisciplinary engineering consultancy. We specialize in chemical and environmental engineering and project management. What we did was we were able to start through a process going through SWOT analysis and setting out our export goals. And we went for an export plan. We selected our target markets, and we did market research, got our market information, market intelligence. We worked on our promotional materials, our networking, building our relationships, ensuring that we built up a profile and credibility in the target markets. Then we finished that off with our market entry options and partnering and strategic alliances to go into our target market.
The second part of the program was looking at markets research. So it takes that before you can go into the market, you need to get some understanding of the market, find out what exists, how do your services fit into the global value chain in that country, what is the population, information of that nature.
Lestrus Inc. is a company that offers training in massage and spa therapies. Over the years recently, I've developed an online option. And for us, it's our unique selling point to be able to reach out to our partners and offer training in massage and spa therapies. What this export development plan did was make our dream a reality. So in other words, we were able to get the coaching, we were able to get the guidance on especially the market research, which is key. So we had found that pursuing the market research, doing the actual plan, also caused us to revisit our initial business model. And then we tweak it to what is currently on ground and that's needed. In other words, we are able to better supply the demand that is out there for training. So through the efforts of the coalition and of course Next Consulting with the guidance from Deanne Gerard, that made a significant impact on the way that we are moving forward.
Yeah, so we provide civil and structural engineering design services as well as project management and construction management services. All the marketing material that we had already prepared for Mana, the coaches from the coalition actually reviewed those, gave us some guidelines as to how they could have been improved. And we did those things. And for example, the idea of market research was kind of new to us. And that was an introduction into the whole marketing that we had not embarked on before. So that provided some new insight onto how we approach the new markets.
The third approach was looking at market development. Of course, that's where you have to develop your portfolio, your profile, sharpen on your promotional material, your websites.
Celestial Self-Development Center started some 8 years ago as a human resource development firm. And since doing so, we've been able to establish ourselves as one of the premier human resource development firms on island. Out of that exercise, we understood that there was perhaps greater value in taking an approach of bringing on board other partners rather than going out in the market and competing openly in the market. We felt that it would require a lot more resources for us to go out there and compete in a very direct way. So we've sought to look at strategic alliances. Additionally, we felt that having done the marketing plan, that approach was much more consistent with the whole concept of the OECS Economic Union, where we see ourselves in one market and not competitors.
Scarp distribution is scarp distribution and culture, so we focus more or less now on audiovisual content, scripted content, stuff with a sort of direction behind it. Originally, setting up the business, we had a business plan, and so there was a structure behind what was being done. But I think when going into like other territories, experiencing or interacting with other business, especially television networks, etc., it was challenging to a point, and I think we had one sort of direction in terms of how or what was the best practice procedure. But then engaging in terms of that particular program that the coalition undertook, now we had a business plan, a marketing plan, and an export plan. So it's not many companies that can say that they have that.
And the fourth stage is the companies going into the market. It means that you decide what is your market entry strategy. Some service providers may look at collaboration, they may look at partnering, strategic alliances, or going in there by themselves. But throughout the process of developing that plan, they would have identified exactly what would be the right approach to enter the market.
Accela Marketing is not like most of the other agencies in the Eastern Caribbean, and in St. Lucia in particular, is not just a production house that produces radio, television, and print. In fact, we work with most businesses, most of our clients, to look at business development strategy, and in particular marketing strategy to achieve their business goals. So while we produce, of course, radio, television, print, websites, we also engage in a lot of marketing strategy, including online marketing strategy. This intervention, the export strategy, has helped Accela in a significant way. We have, as I said, been focusing on working with our clients on looking at new export markets. But what this has done for us is given us focus on where we should go as a company. So it was instructive that at the time we were looking at the Canadian market, and then Diane Girard, who is a consultant assigned to this project, assisted us in establishing our presence in Canada. And not only has it benefited us, because our role is helping find new markets and develop markets for companies, we are now assisting other solution companies in finding markets in Canada. So for us, this has been a very, very useful exercise, and we think that it will not just redound to the benefit of the individual companies involved in the project, but to St. Lucia in general.
Lee Productions is a film and television production company. It's started by myself and my sister Esther. So what we do mostly is music videos, short films, experimental films, commercials, and so on. Yes, this is the first time I really sat and took a proper look at my business, because as an artist, I approach it as an artist, not from a business standpoint. Okay, my coach, Monica, she works with DreamWorks, and she's someone who actually knows the film business. She's inside of it, and so she could give me really good advice in terms of filming and what my target should be, where I should focus my energies and so on. As I said before, I wasn't focused at all, and then you think, okay, I'm just gonna go put it out there, whoever likes it, and so on. But this time I was really able to focus on a particular set of people and focus all my energies in that area. And so far it has been very helpful.
Right Angle Imaging is a marketing communication company. We were established in 1999, became incorporated in 2006. It's a very difficult economic time within the OECS. Some of the markets that we visited perhaps are even a little step behind us. The tangibles for me are the opportunities that I saw, not only to be able to form strategic partnerships, but to be able to augment what already exists in the other markets, to be able to perhaps bring a niche, to the other markets. Interestingly, right on the heels of that, my company landed a contract that was OECS in its context, and the mission and the experience on the mission greatly prepared me to be able to deliver an excellent service in that regard, in terms of how I did my research entering these markets to provide a service to a client, and how I could put into effect a lot of the things that I learned, and to recognize that this opportunity coming right on the heels of a mission that took me to the very same countries is the window that is just open, the crack in the window is opened a little wider, so it's all good.
Converge Solutions is a company steeped in technology, from telecommunications and information technology. We have been around for about 7 years, and our focus is on providing solutions for voice communications, network services for businesses. We have been exporting through the Caribbean, 2008, 2009, thereabout, but going on to Canada and the rest of the world, which has sort of a different type of dynamics in terms of how a new company, new entrants come into play, how you get regulated and how you get contracted. So it was different for us working at the Canadian market, and the activities of the coalition and the team that supported us really helped. So I would say thanks to the coalition and to the initiative. It has really supported us, helped us actually in terms of not being across there physically. The cost of not going across, having to go across there physically is certainly beneficial to the process of closing those contracts.
The winning combination are all of those stakeholders that were integrally involved in the project. And it took a lot of communication, a lot of back and forth. From the donor perspective, we got a lot of technical assistance, a bit of hand-holding for the coalition itself. Because to manage an almost $1 million project, you need some guidance in terms of the conditions of the donor funding, the reporting requirements. So we got a lot of support from the Secretariat as the project coordinator, a lot of support from the Caribbean Development Bank by way of the consultants attached to the program. Leveraging on the gains from that project, we've been getting funding from the German, the GIZ, to further develop that project for the export platform. So more service providers get an opportunity to get the same kind of training. We're in the process of getting grant funding from the Caribbean Development Bank to develop a services policy and action plan. And of course, that policy and action plan will speak to how governments see its role in developing the services sector. We had done some work before on that, just a white paper, but it's going to go further, and it's going to help identify some of the strengths of our services sector and how we can use that to, again, diversify our economy.
We commend our coach, Ms. Diane Gerard, and also Ms. Yvonne Agard.
So I would say thanks to the coalition and to the initiative. It has really supported us.
I really want to commend both the coalition and Ms. Gerard of Next Consulting for her work.